I'm gonna grab your penis. He said he only laughs at it.
Hello. Hello, friends.
But then they would definitely.
Oh my. Okay. If you can hear me, put a star emoji in the chat. Can anyone hear me? Ooh, people can hear me. Hello. Okay, we're gonna get started at 9 p.m. promptly. So make sure you tell your friends, get settled, get comfortable. Does anyone have a good that they want to share? You share it in the chat, I'll read it live. Or you can send it to me. I don't really have a good joke. If you're just coming in, welcome. We're gonna get started at 9. Ooh. If you can hear me, comment how much of your awards applications you've started. And be honest. Someone put 0%. Oh no. Well, good luck with that. 1%, does that mean you've looked at it? If you didn't know, they're on the district website. You can go onto the district website, enter the resources, you click on MR resources, and you scroll all the way down, and you'll see 2 zip folders that you can download. One's for Mac and one's for PC. And District Tech Chair said, Denny Cow says, what are awards? Hello? You uploaded them onto the district website. How's everyone's day going so far? It's hump day, so we made it through hump day. Almost there. Getting through this webinar. Tell your friends that we're going to start promptly at 9 p.m. So if they're like running late, tell them that they should run faster. Jason said that his Wednesday was okay. Ooh. Who's excited for the webinar? Someone said that there's a delay. I know there's a delay. Someone asked, how was my day? My day's been okay. I've been grading my students' midterms, so this webinar is for technical skills. Wow, it says on the big screen, technical skills for awards, webinar. If you're going to decomp, put a car emoji in the chat. Heck yeah. And if you didn't put a car emoji, why are you not going? Vroom, vroom. Are you ready for this webinar? Well, I am. Okay, hello everyone. It is now 9 p.m. and I'm going to get started. So I've already been informed that there's a lag between the time that I'm talking and saying something to like when YouTube Live actually shows it or like when you hear it. And that's going to be okay because the screen is going to lag too along with the voice. So don't worry about that. So welcome to the Technical Skills webinar. This is geared towards awards, but you can also apply these skills to like other things besides awards. So I hope you take away something from this webinar today. So first, introduction of your host. So the voice that you're listening to right now is belongs to Esther Wang. That's me. I currently serve as the District Member Recognition Chair. I am from UC San Diego, and I'm currently a first-year graduate student. A fun fact about myself is that I don't know how to ride a bike. And the worst part is, in the 9th grade, we had to do this like triathlon to pass the class. And the riding the bike portion was like 2 miles. So I struggled really badly.
Hello, everybody. My name is Tyler Chan, and I serve as your MRP and MRS coordinator for the District Member Recognition Committee. I am a third year at Cal State Northridge, and the fun fact about myself is that I love sleeping, and every chance I get to sleep, I always sleep because sleep is awesome.
Okay, so we're going to be your hosts for tonight. So an overview about the webinar. So this is going to be unlike many other webinars because we're not going to be going with slides for most of the rest of the time. So we're going to be doing a lot of demonstrations related to awards-related technical skills using both Microsoft Excel and Adobe Portable Document Format, which is PDF. And after we do these demonstrations, we're going to open it up for questions and questioning, and we'll have reminders and deadlines for you at the end. If you have things that you want to see during the webinar, you can either type it out on the live comment box and my committee members will send that to me, or you can suggest it using the form right there. Please keep in mind though, the form is lettercase sensitive, so the M, R, T, and W must be capitalized when you type it in. So let's get started. So this is what we're going to be covering. And the first thing that we're going to be doing is showing you how to insert new rows and columns. And now you can see, and I'm going to pull up this awards application. When you are in an awards application and you are like typing in things, sometimes you don't have enough rows. So what you can do is you click on the number. So right now I'm clicking on 48. You right click. So when you right click, the screen will pop up. And when you right click, you see the insert right there. So you can click on insert and the row will pop up. In the row, it will insert a new row before the row that you're trying to insert it into. So originally 49 was 48, and now we have a new row inserted right here. Now let's say you want to insert a lot of rows. Then what you do is, let's say I click on 49, you press your shift button and then you click on a different number. So let's say I wanted 4 rows inserted, then I'm going to do what we call highlighting from 49 to 46, and then I'm going to right click and click insert. So when you do this, it will insert 4 new rows. And this is helpful so you're not clicking every single number and right clicking and then clicking insert just to insert 1 row. So use this to help you figure out when you're filling out your awards applications and inserting new rows. It's the same with columns. I believe for awards, you mainly have to insert rows, but for columns, it'll insert the column before the one that you click on. So let's say I click on D, it will insert a new column between C and D right here. So I hope this was helpful. And that's basically how you input new rows and columns. Now, the next thing we're going to be talking about is resizing rows and columns. So what will happen is when you have an awards application open, it might look, the rows might get cut off and go onto a new page. I don't know why this is not doing it, but let's say you want to make this column right here bigger because you don't like the fact that when you type in an event, for example, it might cut off. What you can do is when you go next to the column, this line with 2 arrows sticking out will show up, and you left click and then you drag it to the link that you want it. Now, as you're dragging, it will show you the width of the column in inches as well as the number of pixels. So sometimes if you're OCD like me and you like it exactly at like a nice number, for example, 2 inches, then you stop at 2 and you let go, and it's not stopping at 2. Oh no, stop at 2. Okay, let me, this is hard. Okay, you stop at 2, and now you click, you let go, and then it will make the columns bigger. It's the same with rows. So you can resize your rows, and this is nice for certain sections where you have to input more information, like the essay sections. And I'm not sure if I have an essay section right here. So sometimes if you have an essay section, and you can either choose to insert new rows to make the section right here bigger, or you can just drag, hold, and release, and then it'll make the box bigger for that specific section. So make sure that you utilize this tool, so when you are turning in your awards applications, none of the text gets cut off, because even though we can see it in Excel, when you're turning in your applications, they're going to be in PDF format. So if something is cut off in your application in Excel, it's going to be cut off in the PDF. And when we see the PDF, we're not going to be able to know what you typed in. So make sure that nothing gets cut off in your application. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to talk about is attaching documentations and pictures. So there are specific awards like the Distinguished Kiwanis Award that asks you to attach pictures. So how you can do this is taking this as an example. Let's say this was like a section for attaching pictures. Then what you do is you click on Insert up on the upper left corner. You click on Pictures. And then when you go to like Pictures, things will show up. And then let's say I want this picture, then I get this like giant picture of, this is our club mascot, Kroby, but this is just a demo. And then what you can do is you can use the corner to shrink the photo, and you shrink it to the size you want it. And then you can include it in the section that asks for the picture. So I'm gonna keep shrinking the photo until it's in the thing. So let's say when you're like, so this is like what it can look like. You shrink the photo and then now it's in the section. But let's say when you're attaching it, you want to make the section a little bit bigger to fit more information, then you resize the rows like we said previously. So make sure you utilize this. Now let's say you want to attach a document. So for example, for the Distinguished Appointed Board Officer Award, it asks you to attach your minutes. Then what you would do is, so I have a demo file right here. What you would do is you would get all of the attachments that you want to attach into a Word document, and you clearly label it. So it says, for example, section, and then you label it. So when the judge awards applications, they know the attachment is for. Then after you have everything neatly, you put it on there because of Kiwanis. You can find them on the district website under the style guide. So after you do all of this, what you do is for the Word document, you go to Save As, and you label it something that you're going to be able to find. And you click on PDF. Now when you click on PDF, you save, and it's going to save your file as a PDF. And let's see if it happens. it save? I don't know if it saved. Yes, it did. So then it'll save it in the folder that you have it, that you assign it to. So right here, I have it saved as a PDF, and all of your attachments will be in one file, one PDF. You make your attachments into, this is how you organize all of your attachments. So it's in one file, and then you have it in PDF. So next, Tyler is going to talk about how to save awards applications as a spreadsheet or a workbook.
Alrighty, so when you guys are submitting your awards, you guys want to submit your awards in PDF format because the Excel files are just really big and the Kiwanis won't like it when they see Excel files. So to save your awards application as a PDF, you first want to go to File, and then you will click on Save As. And then you're going to rename your document to however the cover page wants you to name it. And then after that, you're going to click on where it says Excel Workbook. You're going to click that, and you're going to get a drop-down menu. And then towards the bottom will be PDF, and you're going to click on that. And then you're going to click Save. And that should save one page. So when you're submitting the entire awards, you're going to want to package your entire workbook into one PDF. So, Esther, don't break it.
So what Tyler just did was saving one page of your awards application as a PDF. So in this case, only the cover page got saved as a PDF.
So when you're submitting your awards, don't make that mistake because you're going to want to submit your cover page, section 1 through however many sections your award has. So you're going to click on File. And you're going to do the exact same thing, except before you hit Save, you're going to click on More Options. And then under the Options button down there, you're going to click on that. And then select Entire Workbook. And then that should give you your entire awards application in PDF format.
So like Tyler said, you want to make sure you save your entire workbook. It makes your life a lot easier. And if you do it, make sure that you go through. So right here, as you can see, some things got cut off. So make sure you do review your awards application before you submit it. If things get cut off, it means you need to resize your columns, shrink it a little bit so it doesn't get cut off. So when the awards judges, when the Kiwanians who are judging your awards applications looks at it, they're happy. And if they're happy, then you're probably going to be happy at Decon too. So make them happy. So yeah.
Yep. So when you're filling out your awards, some of them might ask you to attach a portion of your master record sheet or MRS. And what this means is that you're going to want to attach your individual member records. So you're going to go into your MRS, click on individual members, and then look up your name underneath the member tab. And we're going to pick someone random. All right. So once you've chosen the person that you want to print out, you're going to go to File. And then you're going to do pretty much the same thing as with the awards applications, except instead of going to more options, you just click save because you don't want to print out the entire MRS as a PDF because that would be a pain in the butt. And you just want that one sheet that includes all the records for that one member. And if you're a general member, make sure to ask your secretary or MR chairs to print this out for you.
So this is what it'll look like when it shows up in PDF with the nice top. So the next thing we're going to talk about is signing signatures in PDFs. So believe it or not, you can actually sign signatures in PDFs. And so we're going to go down here. So some people have asked this. So one of the questions that we got was, does this specific section at the end of Distinguished Officer Awards applications, should it be signed by the member who's filling it out, so the officer, or should it be signed by the person who's writing the letter of recommendation? So this should be signed by the officer, the nominee. So let's see. So you go to the right here, and it says fill and sign. And if I can, it will open up the form like this. Then this little thing, your mouse basically will have an AB next to it. And what you do is you click where you want the signature, and you go up here. And you can either already have like a pre-made signature, like I have a pre-made one that I use, or you can sign. So when you do sign, you want to make sure that you don't type in the name. So don't just type in Esther Wayne because they're not going to take that signature. Instead, make sure that you, what is this? Oh no. Fill and sign. I'm going to enlarge this. I don't know why it's not working. No, that makes me sad. I already have pre-made signatures. Is that why? But you should be able to, under the sign right here, you should be able to, I think it's because I have already one for my full signature and one for my initials. But using this button right here where it says sign, you should be able to sign your signature. And by doing this, you avoid having to print out this page and then sign it and then scan it. You do want to make sure though, when wherever it says signature, that it is something that looks like a signature, like how the signature I'm inputting right here looks like a signature. So yeah. Okay, and the last thing we're going to talk about is merging PDFs. So now this is like the final step. It's application right here. And then I also have all the files that, so like my, so I have my awards application in the full, and then I have all of my attachments. Now, if you read the cover page of the awards application, it will specify how many files you are allowed to turn in for that application. And most of the time, it's one file. So this means that you need to merge all of your PDFs, because if it is not all merged together, then the person who's talking right now is going to be very upset when she has to organize everything. And you don't want to make that person upset. So what you do is you go onto a website that merges PDFs. So you can literally Google PDF merge, and this will come up. And I clicked on the first one, and the first one will take me to pdfmerge.com. So I like this website because let's say you have a lot of files that you want to merge together. What you can do is you can click add more files. So then you choose your file and you go to here. So the rename this please thank you is my awards application, and number 2 is my attachments that I already have all of it in PDF. Then when you merge it, what's going to happen is when it downloads, after it downloads, so it might take a while because you might have a lot of supplements. upload. So after it merges, it will download your file, and when it finishes, you click on it and you open it, and it will look like this. So it'll be your completed application in full and your attachments. Now you want to make sure that before you submit the file, that you do look it over and make sure that it is exactly how you want to turn it in. This means that you cannot be procrastinating until the last minute filling out your application, because you will not have time to check it. And if your application is late, then it's not going to be accepted. So make sure that you do your application early and save enough time so you can check it before you have to submit it to the officer in charge of submitting your awards applications, who's most likely going to be the president. So make sure you do this so you're happy, I'm happy, the Kiwanians who are judging your awards are happy. Okay, so we've gone through all of the demos that we wanted to show you. These are very general. So right now we're going to take questions. So if you have questions, feel free to ask. So someone said, can you go over resizing the rows one more time, I believe? Okay, so we're going to go over this, and hopefully this helps. But let's do this. So I'm over here, and it says, so this is like last year's awards application, so yours should not look like this, but I'm using this as an example. So let's say you want to insert more columns or rows, then you highlight like before and you click insert. Now, if you want to resize rows or columns, then when you click on a row, below it, this little bar with arrows, if it's a row, then it's going to be above and below, it's going to stick out. You'll left click and you can drag. And as you're dragging, it will show you the height of the row. If it's the column, it'll show you the width. So you drag it to where you want it, and you can do this. Now, another method to do this, let's say I want to resize all of these rows. Then I can click on 21 and then shift and then click on 15 and you right click. Then it'll say row height. You can click on the row height, and let's say I want it like 0.25. So I'm going to click 0.25 and it'll resize all of the rows so they are all 0.25 according to Excel. So this is helpful for when you want to resize all of the rows or all of the columns at the same time. I recommend not resizing the columns unless it's to shrink it. So sometimes what will happen is your award application might get cut off. So they run on 2 pages. You don't want that. You want your full application to only be on 1 page on this paper. So that's the only time where you have to resize the column to shrink it. So everything fits on 1 page. But I hope this helps with resizing rows. So someone asked, is there a limit to how many supplements we can add, and are they specified on the award? Yes. So each award specifies how many supplements you can add. So for example, for the Distinguished Secretary Award, for agendas, it asks you to put 2 copies. For the newsletter award, it asks you for at least 4 different newsletters. So you want to make sure that you put the supplements that are required and nothing more, unless it says, for example, for one of the awards applications, it says, I believe for the Distinguished Membership Development and Education Award, it says attach up to 10 additional supplements aside from the ones that are required. So you can attach to 10 more. Now, do not attach too many awards, too many supplements, because if they're not required, then it'll make your club's file really big when it's being submitted. And if it's too big, then the system might not take it. So make sure you only submit what is necessary, because that is all the Kiwanians are going to look for when they're judging the award. So if you submit things that are not asked for, they might not even look at it. So it's just a waste of storage and a waste of your time. Okay. So the next question we have is, how updated does your individual MRS page have to be if we want to submit the award in a timely manner? Tyler, do you want to answer this one?
Yeah. So since awards are due on March 1st, your MRS should be fairly updated, because the final master record sheet is due the day after. So hoping that all your secretaries and MR chairs are doing their job in a timely manner. So by the 27th of February, I want to say, your MRS should be nearly complete. But if it's not, try to have it as filled out as much as possible, because the more events you have, the better it is for the Kiwanians the more things the Kiwanians will have to base off of for judging your award.
Yes. So what Tyler said is correct. So we do understand that secretaries may not have enough time to update the master record sheet completely in time for the awards deadline, which is why the master record sheet deadline is also a day after the awards deadline. But it should be relatively complete, because if it is not, let's say you only have like events up until the end of January, and like every single month you've consistently gone out to a lot of events, but for February there's nothing listed, then that's going to look kind of bad. So you do want to make sure that you consistently update it as much as possible. We do have a deadline coming up with the MRS. I find that a lot of secretaries tend to do things early at this point, and they do have most of their MRS completed before the awards deadline, so they're not stressed about that. Yes. Does anyone? So someone says, does other Kiwanis family training conferences include Keto colleges? So Kiwanis family training conferences would be if your Kiwanian hosts a training session for your club officers, or let's say you went to like a regional training conference for Key Club. That would count as a Kiwanis family training conference. Any other questions? Okay, so I'm going to cut off. Wait. I'm going to. Oh, someone says, "How do you have a pre-made signature?" I just saw that. So this is gonna be interesting, because I actually So I'll demonstrate this because where is my PDF file? So I don't think I can demonstrate this because I already have the pre-made signature. But if you go to fill and sign, and you click on sign, what should happen is that there should be spaces right here where you can like actually create a signature, and what will pop up is what will pop up is a little white space, and what you can use is if you have like a touch screen, then you can use your finger and sign it, or you can use your mouse, or there's another option where you type it in and it looks somewhat like a signature, so it's in cursive. So I've been using it a lot to the point where they just show up right here. I have one for my initials and one for my signature. I hope this is somewhat helpful, but if you're still not sure, hit me up after so I can like make a video for you or something. So that should be like helpful. Okay, so another question that we have is, for any additional Circle K meetings, does that include other clubs meetings? Is there a specific award that you're asking this for? To the person who is asking this, so I can pull the award up and show you. Okay, so we're going to go to the Distinguished Secretary Award on a thing, and hopefully it's here. Which section? I believe. List any additional Circle K meetings. The committee. So for this one, it says within the nominee's home club. So it says list below any additional Circle K meetings committee chair planning the nominee attended during his or her term within the nominee's home club. So it has to be within your home club. It'll say, so for example, for section E, for part E, it says list below any Kiwanis, Key Club or Kiwanis or other Kiwanis family meetings. So this is where you would put, other clubs meetings that you attended. Other questions? Okay, so if there's no more questions, I'm going to, So someone asked, I was in a committee for a divisional event. Where would those meetings go? No worries. So for a divisional event, then you would put it under section E. So section D and E are divided because section D is for the home club and then section E is for a non-home club. So if you were in something for non-home club, then it would go under section E. Okay, so I will open up for questioning until 9:37. So if you have any last minute questions, let us know. In the Distinguished Vice President Section 3C, let's go Vice President Award. Section 3C is the percent attendance out of club's dues paid members. Load. C is the yes. So for this specific question, the question says, is the percent attendance out of the club's dues paid members? So yes. So the percent attendance is out of the club's dues paid members at the time the event happened. So if you know the percent attendance, so if you know the number of dues paid members at the time that the event happened, you can most likely get this from your club's MRF. If your secretary updates this, then you can get the percent attendance. But if you don't have this, then you would have to use the total number of dues paid members that your club currently has. So 1 minute left for questions. Okay, I see that there's no questions left, so we're going to move on to reminders and deadlines. So a few reminders for your awards applications. Make sure that you read the cover page of your application before you get started, or if you got started but you haven't read the cover page, make sure you do so, and make sure that you read the cover page before you submit the application. There's a lot of really useful information on the cover page, and I think I wrote it in a way that was pretty clear with how the award should be submitted, how you should name your file, what can be submitted, how many files can be submitted for that awards application. So there's all these things that may come up, but I think it's pretty clear. So make sure that you do read the application cover page, because it should help you a lot with the rules for that specific application. So the second reminder, remember not to type in your name for the signature portion if applicable on the application. So this is specifically for the distinguished officer awards as well as the endorsement sheet. So make sure it does look like a signature and not typed in. Just don't type it in and submit it, because if the Kiwanis decide that they're not going to accept it, then your club is going to get disqualified. And at that point, there's nothing I can do about it. I can't fight them on this, and I would be scared to fight them on this. So make sure that you don't risk disqualification and sign an actual signature, whether it's through the PDF application or it's through printing out the application and then signing it and then scanning it. So the third reminder, make sure that you do submit a completed endorsement sheet with your club's applications. An endorsement sheet must be submitted. I cannot stress this enough. If your club turns in all the applications without an endorsement sheet, that is automatically disqualified. Your club is automatically disqualified for any awards because an endorsement sheet was not submitted. So make sure you do this, because I would hate to see anyone get disqualified because a file was forgotten. Okay, so the fourth thing is to turn in your awards on time. I can't stress this enough. So that 11:59 p.m. on March 1st is a hard deadline. And by hard, I mean like a biggest deadline, like bigger than your final. Like I just don't want to see anyone get disqualified because you turn in your awards late. There's literally no excuses because the awards applications have been released since middle of December. So if you tell me that you're dying on like March 1st, I'm gonna tell you you could have turned it in on February 28th. So if you want an extension, then set the deadline for yourself at like 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. on March 1st. And then when that deadline comes, just be like, ooh, it got extended by like 2 or 3 hours, and then turn it in by 11:59 p.m. on March 1st. 11:59 p.m. does not mean midnight on March 2nd. If you turn it in even 1 minute late, it's not going to be accepted. This deadline is very, very strict. So make sure you follow through on this. And lastly, pay your club's dues ASAP. So if you don't know, you need an accurate membership count for your club on both your awards application, and the district will have access to the number of dues paid members. So if that number is different from like the number you put in, then we're going to question things. So make sure that you do pay your club's dues ASAP and that you have an accurate number for your membership count. If you're unsure about this, you can contact District Governor Lawrence Sahagan, District Treasurer Yvonne Haas, or you can contact me, District Member Recognition Chair Esther Wayne, and we will help you with this. But make sure you turn in your dues ASAP because that February 28th deadline for dues is very, very strict in terms of we need that number for awards judging. And since awards applications are due on March 1st, you do need to have an accurate number of dues paid members. And we also use that cutoff for specific awards like the Growth Enhancement and Membership Award. So the GEM awards, we use the February 28th deadline. So just make sure that you turn in your club's dues on time. And next we have Tyler with the deadlines.
All right. So like Esther said, you want to make sure you turn in everything on time because this time of the Circle K term is where everything matters and counts. Not that anything hasn't mattered because everything always matters. So make sure you turn everything by the posted deadlines right here. So for awards, all awards are due March 1st at 11:59 p.m. Except for scrapbook awards, those are due on site at DCON by 6 p.m. on Friday, March 23rd. So the Friday of DCON. And make sure when you're turning in the scrapbook awards that you do print out the actual PDF format of your scrapbook award. Otherwise, we will not accept your pretty looking scrapbook, even though like as much as we want to accept it, we probably can't, or for sure we can't. So yeah. The master record sheet is due February 5th, 2018. That is next Monday by 11:59 p.m. And the final deadline for the master record sheet for the end of the term is March 2nd, 2018, so 1 day after awards are due. And both master record sheets should be emailed to Esther at member-recognition@cnhcirclek.org. Like Esther said, make sure you turn in everything before the deadline. And if you guys do submit it late, there's nothing we can do. We can cry about it with you, but again, everything's pretty much out of our power at that point.
Mm-hmm. So like Tyler said, we can cry it with you, but it's out of our power. I would also like to stress that your master record sheet must be submitted to the email that you see on the screen. So if you turn it in to District Governor Lawrence Sahagan and he decides that he's not going to forward it to me, then it's not going to count as an official submission. So in order for it to count as an official submission, it must be submitted to that email. And what will happen is on March 3rd, like sometime in the morning, probably like 6 or 7 a.m., when I wake up, you're going to get a confirmation email from me. And if you don't get a confirmation email by like noon of the next day, then you should email me and ask, hey, did you get my file? Because if it was misplaced, then I would hate for it to be like misplaced, but you want to make sure that I did get the file that you submitted. So make sure that the files are submitted to the email that you see. And for that MRS deadline, the final deadline, that one is as strict as the awards deadline, because a lot of things need to be get done need to be done for decon. With respect to like MRP, with like organizing the pins, printing out certificates, making the slides. Tyler has to do all of this with other committee members and myself. So make sure that you don't stress him out by turning it late, because it wouldn't really just stress him out, it would stress you out too, because in your club it will not qualify for MRP. And I would hate to see your members' years worth of hard work go to waste because a file was submitted late. So make sure that you follow through on these deadlines. Yes, also Tyler said don't email the files to him either, because if you email the files to him but you don't email it to me, then they're not going to be counted as official submissions. You can go to Tyler when you need feedback, but official files should go to the email that you see on the screen. Okay, so this is the end of our webinar. I'd just like to thank everybody who came and asked questions. I hope this webinar was very useful for you. So if you ever have any questions, feel free to come to the MR Committee's office hours. We have them twice a week. We have one tomorrow night. So we also have them on Sundays at 8 p.m. So come join us at our webinars. If you want the link, you can message any of the committee members or email us and we'll send it to you. Make sure you also sign up for the webinar so you get credit for MRP, and we look forward to seeing you at District Convention. Yay! Decon, go to Decon.